Nike sweatshirt, are you wearing the sweatsuit? Or is
I
it
have
too hot? Or the
good
pants?
question. It's actually, this is so pathetic. There's air conditioning because we're here in Newport Beach right now, and it's like perfect temperature outside, but then you come into these hotel rooms and they're like freezing cold.
Freezing.
So I had to quickly put on a sweatshirt because I went from being hot and lovely and just like perfect with a little breeze to needing to put on the sweatshirt. But honestly, besides our Aviator Nation ones that I tend to always love to wear when you and I do our shows, this is my like second favorite sweatshirt. I'm
It's
obsessed.
lovely. I
It
love it. I
makes me
love
realize,
it.
why the hell do I always wear gray and black?
I
I wear
know.
gray and black all the time, Mix. I can't get myself out of it. I have 72, well, like black tank tops, like varietal, and same thing with the sweatshirts. But whenever I wear this pink get up, I feel happy. I think there's
Yeah.
something to this,
Well, it's
you
funny.
know?
I was on a run with my friend Nikki today, and
Yeah.
she was saying the same thing, that she was feeling just a little bit under the weather. And she's like, and damn it, I've got myself a black, my outfit for work is black. And I knew it. I was thinking I'm a bit low for this, but she just couldn't bring herself to put any color into it, albeit it was a lovely outfit. But
I mean, do
yeah.
you wear color? Do you like to wear color or like no?
But Jess, you see me most weeks.
I
I
do.
probably had like two or three black
You have two or
things.
three. Yeah. Well, there could be the
Black
secret
things.
side of you where you're like, a little bit. I I see you rotate your, you love, what I love about you is you love a good vest. You love a good, I see you kind of sometimes wear those like kind of cute, like sort of like little hoodie vest things. And I think those are like so perfect because it's like you're a layered person. You have to like
I am.
take off
And in
clothes
fact,
when you need to.
and I think I have like two black tops. All of them are colors. And I like to
We're like
rotate
the
my
opposite. Look at
sweatshirts.
us. This is what we,
Yeah.
again, another reason we work. You wear all the color, I wear all the black and gray, but then we come together and form a
There
bit
you
of a
go.
rainbow. But it does
Yeah.
make you feel better. I think there is real truth in wearing color.
Yeah. It's like getting out in the sun. Like, just you need the sort of brightness. Anyway, but you're having a little vacay slash
We in
school
our
tour, no?
family, we call, so we call what we do now, we call them sportcations. Because if you have a very athletic child and you play on these club teams, then you are traveling to tournaments all during the year and it becomes a little crazy. So we can't always get to have all of the vacations, but when you go to beautiful places like this for your sport, then we just decide to make it a bit of a holiday for Jeff and I and Gemma. And really what it turns out into is not seeing a lot of our son because he's with the team and doing all this. It really gives our daughter a ton of, Gemma can get all of our focus. So that's kind of
Yeah.
nice. So
Oh, that is
we're
nice.
here, but we're in Newport Beach and it's super cute, home of the frozen banana, which we're going to go have after this. A frozen chocolate dip banana, I should say. So everybody knows. So yeah. Hi. How do you like that? I like to pretend too that just a little healthy because I'm having the banana.
Oh, totally. It's fruit. It's fruit and chocolate. No,
Hey, fruit
I
and
love that.
chocolate. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
heard of this brand called True Fruit? True Fruit?
I have actually. I've seen they're like
So
people talk about like dark chocolate
yes,
cherries and yes.
cherries and raspberries, and they like
Yeah.
almost like little bonbon looking things, but they're like a piece of chocolate dip fruit. It's so
Amazing.
fabulous. And I was like, well, I mean that is not the worst thing to put in your mouth. And
Not at
so
all.
right, and so they have,
Yeah.
this is what like this little bubble island, which is near Newport Beach. This is kind of what they're known for. They have these like cute little ice cream stands, and one of them are frozen chocolate dip bananas, which are like, I mean,
Oh,
like
lovely.
right now top three desserts
Yeah. And
for
do you
me.
make them at home with your kids?
I mean, no, because I'd much rather pay $10 to buy one on vacation.
Yeah.
But that is definitely something that is not hard to do, everybody. So like take some frozen fruit and sprinkle a little, dip it in chocolate, right? Do you tell your clients this and then you just stick it back in the freezer and then you've got like, right? It's
Yeah.
not hard. And then
It
you
wouldn't be hard. But to your point, could lose its appeal. Like, sometimes things are special because they're at a certain place or they're part of what you do rather than because because you really love the thing. Like, you probably
but
wouldn't love it as much.
what we have been doing, and this kind of speaks to what we're about to talk about, is, I've been really focused on moving after dinner. So some bit of a walk, which I wasn't doing really as much before because it's like nighttime and you're just kind of settling in. But Jeff and I have been like either putting the kids down to bed or just kind of letting them hang and then getting a little walk in. And while we've been here, we've kind of been doing the same thing. So we'll just, yeah, we're going to go get a treat, but at least we're walking to get it. So, and then it, you know, it helps with all of those positive things that you were talking about with like blood sugar regulation and just digestion and getting your at more steps in. It actually is kind of this really powerful thing that I continue to remind people that it's not the big things. It's actually things like that that move the dial.
They really do. And I was thinking about it today because I had a client this last week and she's like super dialed in on her diet. Like, I mean, there are areas that she could improve. And so we chatted a little bit about it. She's got her A1C under control from pre-diabetic to within the normal range. And always room for improvement, but she's done super well. And she's like, I just can't lose weight and I just cannot see where in my diet I can make this shift. And so we talked through what she was doing and ultimately, and I'm like, you know what? I agree. Like, you can't really pull anything else out in your diet. And then of course, what had come up earlier in the conversation, which I then revisited, was like, you actually need to be a bit more active because right now what's happened is she's dropped her calories to the point where they're super low. And then she's also not doing almost any, like she'll be getting 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day max. She's like doing strength training maybe a couple of times a week, but that's like nothing really. That doesn't do anything for sort of energy flux. And I'm like, you know what we need to do is get you moving more. So you've got or just more sort of, caloric expenditure, and that's where we're going to see a shift for you. And then ultimately over time you'll be able to eat more food as well, because when you just really pull calories super low, like everything dials down, like your non-exercise activity just, your spontaneous sort of movement just, does nothing. It goes super low. And she herself said, you know what, like I don't do a lot during the day. Like I sit on the couch. She's retired. And I'm like, okay, we need to get you onto some sort of baseline step program and then start there and then build from there. Because I said, ultimately, you want to be doing 8,000 to 10,000 steps, and you've got no reason not to, albeit we can't start there with you because you're only at about 2,000. So we need to.
That's right.
Yeah. Bring it up.
But it's an interesting point. And I guess people would say that like they don't have the energy maybe because their calories are low. Is that why they're not getting the extra movement in? Because they're tired?
I think so. I think a little bit that, but also,
or they just don't know. Maybe.
And physical activity makes you feel more energized as well. Like
sure.
But you don't know it until you do it. Like
that's right.
At the moment, you sort of feel like there's this. It's like, oh my gosh, there's just one more thing I have to do, and we're really feeling a bit exhausted.
This is it.
But actually, you feel better once you move more. Like your blood flows easier. You're able to you get some fresh air in, you get more oxygen in, all these things sort of bring energy. Then you get this pleasant weariness at the end of the day. Then your sleep is better. So there's just so many positives for building up that energy flux.
Yeah. And is that so we were kind of talking about this because you brought this up earlier, energy flux, right? So maybe just go ahead and kind of like, because I kind of was just talking about walking to get a banana, but really that's so much bigger than that because it's a piece now to my day, especially the timing of it too. I've been a lot more mindful of the timing of movement and with blood sugar and with energy and with sleep. And I find that doing that bit of a walk after dinner time is really critical for me because I get I'm moving, whatever throughout the day, but that last little bit at night seems to be really helpful for me in that area. And for all the reasons I think that I just said, but I hadn't really thought about it that way. I just kind of dismissed it. I was like, I'm tired. In fact, if anything, I find sometimes that I'll eat a little bit more. And because of that, like it feels extra imperative to kind of get that walk in. But then so just sort of like maybe going back to summing up what energy sort of flux is, what that even means for our, the person listening and just your clients, my clients.
Yeah, it's just like people can, because I was talking about it in a fat loss context with this lady, and you can either eat very low calories and do low and create a calorie deficit just through diet alone and not think about energy expenditure, so the number of calories you actually burn. So they by default will also be quite low. So this is someone who's not that active, and you can
Okay.
lose weight that way, but a more sort of robust way to lose weight is actually get your energy expenditure up, do more movement, do more exercise, get that blood flowing, sort of get build that muscle, burn those calories, because then you've got then that flux of calories of the energy that you're burning and the energy that you're consuming is just far greater. And so when you're in a low energy flux, you're eating low calories, but when you're in a
Okay.
higher energy flux, which is not where she is now, but where ideally she will be after a period of time, she can eat more calories, feel more satisfied, and see more results that she's currently not seeing because her overall energy expenditure is super low. So you just create this more of a calorie burn, if you like.
Okay. So all makes complete sense. Going back to this client though of yours who has a low caloric intake right now, and her activity level is low too. So you're saying kind of here's your people can't see this, but in our
Well, they
listeners, but
can
like
on YouTube.
they can on YouTube.
Yeah.
But right here is their calories and their energies here. But so if they bring up their energy just expenditure right about here with that same calorie level, like that's kind of what you're getting at. And then as the activity level kind of raises up, then the caloric intake can raise up a little bit too.
Yeah,
Is
but
that
your
sort of
hands are in the wrong place. So
okay?
currently she would sort of be like her calories and her energy expenditure is both really low. So if we
Okay.
bring this up, she'll start burning some
If
more
you bring
calories than
that
what she's
left hand is the
expending.
calorie hand, then right?
This is calories
Yep.
and this is energy expenditure. So
I
bring your
get it.
expenditure up,
Energy. Okay.
and then you'll be able to bring your calories up as well. So you still, and this is how you fuel the body to build lean muscle, and
Yeah, okay.
regardless of your age, and then you start to feel better because you can eat more but still get leaner because you're more active, live an
But you
active sort
have
of
to
high energy
bring
flux.
the calories up though. Why you're sorry, you have to bring the activity level up while you're still in kind of a lower calorie state, right?
You,
That's
you
how
you
that
don't you don't
works.
have to, but for some people you sort of do,
Okay. Yeah.
because if you've just bottomed out on your calories and you can't
Yeah.
go, and if lifting them would mean that you would start gain weight, then you do need, like right now she's not in a deficit because her weight's not moving, so we need to create that deficit first, and then you can sort of stepwise, as she's increasing her energy, you can start to potentially increase those calories, albeit she'll probably feel a lot less hungry even on the same number of calories, because there's this uncoupling that happens with calories and energy expenditure. So someone on super low, who should be on super low calories and has very low energy output, they have this uncoupling of the appetite. So they feel hungrier because they're not as active. And I know that seems counterintuitive, but exercise can help regulate the appetite as well. So you can feel less hungry when you do slightly more activity too.
That is such an interesting again, I love this. This was like the mind blow the other day when you're like, hey, guess what? If you're actually eating more protein and more dense food, you can actually eat more, right? Eat more to lose weight is this weird thing. People still are like, what? Same thing there. I always think people are like, well, if I exercise more and I move more, I'm going to be more hungry and it's going to make me want to eat more. And right there, you just kind of debunk that whole theory.
Definitely, yeah, and definitely for people who are not active yet. So probably your general active person, they will get an uptick in appetite, I think.
Sure,
But if you are like my client who are doing 2,000 steps a day,
right.
which is actually the norm for a lot of people, that
That's
like
right.
if you
That's right.
just go to the office, you do your job, you go home, you just around the house, and then you sit down and you go to bed. Like, not a lot of steps to be had.
No, that's right. So I think so for people, it's like once you kind of stop seeing the dial mover type of thing, that's when you're cue to kind of increase your activity level alongside with that calorie intake. And then you can kind of mess with them a little bit more, but you do have to get more steps, and you do have to get more movement in at some point, right?
I think for people who are currently not doing much at all,
Correct.
yes. Like
That's
if
one
you're
demographic.
already, yeah.
Sure.
If
If
you're
you already are,
doing,
then how
yeah.
would you describe energy flux for that person?
Well, they're probably already in a high energy flux model. So they're already like burning a lot of calories. They're probably eating a lot of calories, and depending on their goal, they're either maintaining their weight, or they could easily be in a calorie deficit still if they're doing enough activity. So
what do you say to the person who's doing enough activity and would you just look and isn't and wants to lose weight and is mindful of their calories? Then how do you what kind of conversation are you having with that person?
well, that person is if they're not being rigorous, that's with their calories, it's the calorie side of things. Very blanket, like, because of course there could be other things going on that might need to be checked, like what's their thyroid doing, but there'll be symptoms of that. But if they're feeling good, they're like, I feel like I'm eating really well and I'm moving really well, but nothing's shifting, and they're legitimately moving a lot and eating good food, then it's just a case of eating too much.
I see. And then that goes back to eating the higher quality, higher protein, higher dense food, more of it, less of the other stuff.
It's tracking your diet, because if you're already eating well, then it's likely you're eating too much somewhere. So you need to be quite rigorous about what you're doing to figure out what that looks like.
Yeah, even the good stuff.
Even the good stuff, exactly. Avocado and nuts and olive oil and cooking, like they're all great, but they can all add up pretty.
I always tell people at this point too, with weight loss, because you're right, there's a lot of factors, but sometimes if you're really just kind of trying to talk about energy flux this way, which is, I don't know how, I'm just kind of summing it up with like calories and movement, that kind of balance between the two. I think that's when you really have to kind of deep dive, into, you're right, the amounts of the good food that you're having and what you're having, because, avocados are great, but like they're like a ton of calories and a ton of fat. And so you really have, like, I said this to myself too, like if I was having like half of one, I need to have a quarter of one. Like, it's like you peel back the area that where you can. I've looked at that many times before. I'm like, well, I love that, but I can have this as the dressing instead, and there's like 5 calories there, easy. So, it's more precision, I think, at that point. But I think that when it comes to energy flux, I think it's also just a matter of increasing slowly. I say this a lot to my clients when we start kettlebells, because often it feels very overwhelming to them. But one reason why I introduce kettlebells and why I have it as such a big part of my strength training practice is that you don't have to do a lot of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could literally do, it's true, it sounds ridiculous, but you can do 5 to 10 minutes. Like, that's what you're doing. And that's a fantastic place for a strength base, because it is so cardiovascular while it's simultaneously very, much on the muscular endurance side too. So I would say the barrier to entry is not big. Just a little bit is really kind of all you need. And then you can add from there, but kind of like adding to your client, you're adding 2,000 steps. You can add 2 minutes in this sport, right? Totally. It's not like an hour and a half. It's literally, we're going to add 2 minutes to Mikki's kettlebell set. Right. And that makes a big difference. The volume there, the increased heart, workout and that kind of thing. So I really haven't had any kind of strength training tool that's ever kind of been where you can really measure it incrementally like that. And it can make a huge difference in your strength and cardio game.
Yeah. Amazing. Totally.
Amazing. But summing up, we'll just kind of sum up energy flux one more time. So if you were to like sum it up between calories and movement, you would say
that really, if you're not doing a lot of movement and you're on super low calories, then the place for you to dial in is to bring that energy expenditure up.
Yep. And walking is just one way. You can do kettlebells too.
100%. Yeah. And
you can add 2 minutes to your kettlebell set, or you can do a 5 to 8 minute kettlebell set, or you can walk another 1,500 steps or whatever it is.
Or jump on a bike and do some zone 2. Like, you can do all of it.
Jump on a bike and do some zone 2. But sometimes it is really good to hear coaches and professionals like us just even tell you some of the things that you can do to increase your energy expenditure in a way that doesn't feel too vast.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
100%.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's kind
And
of
so
my feeling.
and it's always, meet the client where they're at and what they're doing and whatnot, right?
I say this all the time. I like to be met where I'm at, but I do think about the walking has really been a game changer, and it's helped at that kind of time in the day. And the sleep is really huge, everybody. So if you're walking a little bit at night, you'll sleep. I almost can guarantee you'll sleep better, and that's a wonderful thing because it just talk about something else that is a big time dial for
Oh,
sleep.
100%. 100%. Nice
But
one,
it's,
Jess.
yeah. So here we are. You're heading off to the cold. I will continue on in the warm, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna
And
be
I
cold
bet
where you're
you
heading
must be
to.
grateful for your chocolate dip banana, I bet.
I am grateful for my chocolate dip banana and kind of everything that embodies time with
Yeah,
my
love it.
family and a walk and a treat. I mean, I'm not going to lie here, getting your 9-year-old to walk to do anything often does involve a chocolate dip banana or some kind of ice cream. But,
That's all
hey
right.
guys, if this is how you get your family to walk, it is a small price to pay. I will pay
100%.
that little bit so that she understands the importance of it and what it actually is doing for your body. So it's
Yeah.
an incredible gift. So
It
I'm
sounds like a
grateful for that.
win-win.
What are you
Yeah.
grateful for?
It'll be lovely to see my family this weekend.
I am looking forward to hearing all the stories of your family. Everybody, Mikki has a twin sister, in case all you new listeners did not know that. So fun. I still think it's so cool to have a twin. I always dreamed about having one.
Everyone without a twin says that.
I know, it's because we watched
Which
all
is
those
most of the
movies when we
world.
were
Yeah.
little. We all
Yeah.
think it's like you sound the same, you do the same, you can trick your teachers. I think that was a big one, right?
Yeah. 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 We
The whole
would never
thing.
have gotten away with that, but
I know. This
yeah.
episode we should call Chocolate Bananas. I decided that would be the
Yeah.
title of it. If you look for us on YouTube, look up Chocolate Bananas. Have a very good
Perfect.
time in the cold. I'll be sending all the good warmth to you,
Thank you,
and I
Jess. You
will see
enjoy
you on.
your rest of your vacay, and we'll see you next week.
I shall. Bye now.
Bye.